Hi there, my name's Mark and welcome to today's practice. For today's practice, you will need to have a set of blocks. They're an option only, so you may not need them, but it's nice to have them there just in case. We've got a hatha practice today to unlock the hamstrings. So if you're a bit tight into the lower back of the hamstrings, great practice for that one. When you're ready, we're going to start off in any comfortable seated posture. So you can sit on a block if you want to sit on a block or a little pillow, or sit cross-legged if that's more comfortable for you. And then when you're ready, start with the palms face down on the tops of the knees and bring the thumb and index finger together. If you prefer, you can always just rest the palms in the lap. Just take a moment here to close the eyes down or just find somewhere in front of the body to place your focus and awareness. You might like to start by taking a clearing breath in through the nose. Relax the jaw on the exhale. Just take a moment to settle here and be with the breath. Begin the process of removing ourselves from the happenings of the day. Just taking the time to switch off from any external distractions. Take a moment to clear some space to move into our practice. And so we'll start here with a even ratio breath, a samavriti breath. And so you can even place your right hand on the belly if that helps to inhale and exhale with a diaphragmatic breath. And so we want to create that expansion into the belly on the inhale, expanding into the ribs. And then on the exhale, just feel the belly moving back in toward the spine. And so it's a conscious breath. We'll take about 10 or 12 rounds here. And so as you create this even ratio, roughly 4, maybe 5 seconds in breath and out breath. Helps to harmonize the fluctuations in the energy levels, helps to harmonize the fluctuations of the mind. As we focus on the breath, it'll help to switch us off from external distractions so we can place our focus more internally, inward. Such an important part of the practice, especially the hatha practice, is finding that balance and that harmony with the breath. Let's take one more breath here. You can either keep the eyes closed down or just open the eyes a little bit if you need to. We're going to start off in tabletop position. So when you're ready, make your way into 4-point posture. If you were sitting on a block or a little pillow, just move that out to the side. And then start here, take the hands underneath the shoulders, spread the fingers nice and wide, knees under the hips, tuck the toes under. Just take a moment to settle here, so really feel into these points of contact. Come back to this even ratio with the breath, and then when you're ready on the in-breath, drop the belly, lift the chin. And then on the exhale, round through the spine, tuck the chin in, separate the shoulder blades. And so continue with that even ratio breath. And as you continue, it's a really nice opportunity here to be more aware of how the spine moves. Notice any tightness, any tension, anything you become aware of along the way. Remember, the spine is this central channel of communication for the rest of the body, so it's taking note of how the spine moves. And then coming back to neutral spine. From here, make your way into downward facing dog, and you can take a bent knee to begin with, whatever's most comfortable for you. Let's take a moment to arrive and settle here. And so we want to focus on this length and alignment through the spine. The lifting of the tailbone on the in-breath, and then send the breath down the back of the legs on the exhale. And so there's a nice amount of time in this hatha practice to really tune into and be aware of all the little subtleties in the physicality of the body, all the subtleties in the energy body. Soften the knees and then walk your way up to the top of the mat. Have the feet roughly hip distance apart as you get here. Little halfway lift, lengthen out through the spine. And then on the exhale, fold forward. Let's do that one more time. So inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Just settle here for a couple of breaths. You might like to take ragdoll, grabbing onto the opposite elbow. Relax the neck, let the head hang heavy. And then release the arms. From here, just have a look at the feet and just make sure you've got firm contact with all 5 toes, especially the big toes, grounding into the arch stability into the ankle. Then just slowly start to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Draw the belly in as you roll, stacking the spine. As you get to the top, peel the shoulders back, open the chest, then have the palms facing the front. And so here in Tadasana for a few breaths. We'll do a few rounds on a classical sun salutation. We'll do the first round nice and slow just to learn the movements, and then a couple of rounds with a little bit more pace to build a tiny bit of heat in the body. And so take a breath in here. On the exhale, bring the palms to the heart space, Anjali Mudra. Take a breath in, reach the arms up and back very slightly. And then as you exhale, bring the arms out wide. Fold forward, switching on through the legs to protect the lower back. Settle here for a moment. And then step your right foot back into a kneeling lunge. Bring the back knee down, keep the toes tucked under, lift the chest, get this length into the spine. And then from there, palms grounded into downward facing dog. Settle here for a couple of breaths. On the next inhale, shift forward into kneeling plank. And then on the exhale, bring the chest down to the mat. Extend out through the toes, cobra pose on the in-breath. Exhale and release. Tuck the toes under, and then return to downward facing dog. And so this time, step the right foot forward, kneeling lunge. So the left leg will be back this time on the opposite leg. Settle here for a couple of breaths. Get this length into the spine, lifting the chest. Step in, forward fold, feet hip distance apart, whatever's most comfortable for you. Ground down through the feet as you inhale, sweep the arms out and up, long spine, strong back. And then exhale into Tadasana, palms facing the front. Take a breath in here. On the exhale, palms to the heart space. And then let's go again on the in-breath. Sweep the arms up, engage the belly. On the exhale, fold forward. You might want to reach the arms forward or out to the side, whatever you prefer. Inhale, right foot steps back, kneeling lunge, lift the chest. Exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale forward into kneeling plank or high plank. Exhale to the floor or chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing dog on the inhale. And then exhale into downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward on the in-breath, kneeling lunge, drop the back knee, lift the chest. On the exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Then exhale into Tadasana. Let's do one more round, stepping back on the left first. Inhale, and then exhale, palms to the heart space. Sweep the arms forward and up. Arms to the side or forward, engage the core as we fold, hinging from the hips. Left leg steps back this time, kneeling lunge. Lift the chest as the knee drops down. Palms grounded, downward facing dog. Forward into high plank or kneeling plank. Chaturanga or chest to the floor. Upward facing dog or cobra pose. And then exhale into downward facing dog. Left foot forward on the in-breath, kneeling lunge, lift the chest. Back foot steps in, we fold. Breath in, reach up. And then finishing in Tadasana. Settle here for a couple of breaths. Just take a moment, notice how the body feels, that slight increase in internal heat, that solar energy into the body. Feel that rise of energy, lifting up through the body. And so from here, step down to the edge of the mat or the sides of the mat. So straddle fold. I'm going to take the legs nice and wide. And if you want to use your blocks for this one, you can. Otherwise, just have them at the front of the mat. We'll use them for triangle and pyramid pose. So from here, have the feet nice and wide. And you want to switch on through the legs. So quadriceps switched on, inner thigh switched on. And then start with the hands to the hips. And so take a breath in. And then as you exhale, hinge forward, strong through the back. Settle there for a moment. Inhale, stand up. Do that one more time. So exhale, hinge forward. So working into lower back strength. And then from here, bring the hands down to the mat. Take another halfway lift, revisit that long spine. And then from here on the exhale, fold all the way forward. And we're going to settle here for about 10 or so breaths. And so keep the energy in the legs. Keep the quads switched on. Keep the inner thighs active. Maintain that even ratio to the breath. And so what we're working to do here is bring the forearms down closer towards the mat. So you might like to grab onto the opposite elbows. The important thing though is to think about this activation into the quadriceps. And so as you activate the quads, it helps to release the hamstrings. And so it's called reciprocal inhibition. So opposite muscle activation and relaxation. And so use the breath and feel when you have more space in the body. Feel how the forearms move closer to the mat with each out breath. Good. One more breath here. And then use the palms on the next inhale, halfway lift. And then bring the feet in a fraction closer if you need to. Hands back to the hips, and on the inhale, lower back strength, standing all the way up. Good job. And so from here, turn your right foot to the top of the mat. Back foot will be on a 20-degree angle. And so if you need your block, grab your block and just place it on the inside of the front ankle, on whatever height. You're best off having a block to use, or use the shin so you can get this alignment. So open up into the hips, arms out wide. Just find that balance point of the arms. Switch on through the legs so you're drawing energy in, slight lean forward, and then palm to the shin or palm to the block. So we're going to get this nice big triangle shape, Trikonasana. And so from here, open the chest, stack the ribs, and then take your right arm reaching up, or your top arm reaching up. And then what you can do from here is take that hand around behind and then just place the hand into the middle upper back. And so if you're a bit tight into pec minor, here into the front of the shoulder and chest, it's a nice little variation just to create a bit of space there to open, because what can happen is the tendency to kind of want to round forward. We want to stay open and stack the ribs, open the chest. And then once you're there for a couple of breaths, if you're okay, you can bring the arm back up, or maybe even take the arm forward. So remember, just use whatever variation you need. You can always take the block down a little bit lower at any point in time you need to as well. But I find having the block a little bit higher and focus on this alignment and this length is a lot more beneficial than using no block and losing the alignment through the body and not being able to stay connected with the breath. Let's take another 2 breaths here. Really nice amount of time to explore the postures here. Can be a lot more challenging than a flow sequence where you've got more distraction of the mind as you move from one posture to the next. From here, bend into the front knee, bring your top hand to the hip. And then from here, for a few breaths, little counterbalance in reverse warrior. So you can bring your hand up to the ceiling, lower hand supporting into the outside of the glute muscle, or reach down the outside of the thigh. And just settle here for about 4, maybe 5 breaths. So bending into the front leg, breathing into the front ribs. Good, then bring both hands back to the hips. And so from here, we're going to move into pyramid pose. So bring your back foot in, square the hips off. And if you need to bend into the knees, grab your blocks and then get yourself set. So hips square, shoulders square. From here, take a breath in. Then as you exhale, hinge forward. And then use the blocks if you need to. So still working onto the same leg, hamstring. And so from here, you want to find this length and alignment through the spine. So if you have that tendency to round forward, then use the blocks. You can always lift the back heel up a little bit if you need to as well to find more space. And then ground the back heel down. And then once you're in position, bring your focus back to that even ratio breath. Keep the quadriceps switching on in the front leg. And you can even think about sending the breath down the back of that front hamstring. Shoulders away from the ears, long through the neck. Good, one more breath here. Bend into the front knee. And then come back to the center, standing up tall. So from here, you just might like to give the legs little shakeouts. Grab your blocks, and then prepare for the other side. So, starting off here in the center once again, Take the feet out nice and wide. And then this time, bring the hands around behind, chest expansion. Drop the shoulders down, feel this lengthening into the neck. Take a breath in, and then on the exhale, keep the legs engaged. We fold forward. If that gets a bit too much with this bind, then you can keep the hands down in front like we had before. And so once again, you're softening into the shoulders. And then as you connect with the breath, just allow the weight of the arms to do the work for you. And so the more the shoulders relax, the more softening you'll get through the upper body into the upper traps. That big diamond-shaped muscle in the upper back that holds a lot of energy and tension. Notice the difference when you keep the quads active. Feel what that does to the hamstrings. Good, one more breath. Good, release the arms, hands back to the hips. Engage the core, inhale, rise up. Good job. Turn your left foot to the front this time, ready for Trikonasana. So if you need to have your block in beside the ankle, have that ready to go. And so once again, have the feet set, arms out long, find the position and then slight lean forward, and then hand to the block or hand to the shin. You can always just use the shin to rest on as well if you need to. Just take a few breaths to settle here. Find your balance, switching on. And then from there, if you want, take that top arm around behind. Just gently place the hand into the middle back. Peel the top shoulder back for a moment. So stack the chest, opening into the ribs. You might even feel a nice couple of adjustments into the spine. The more you focus on the breath, the body moves back into its natural state of alignment. You can take the top arm reaching forward if you wish. And so remember, reach as far forward as you can with that top arm. And so these lateral positions are quite energizing for the body. Keep the legs engaged. Two more breaths. And then from here, bring the top hand to the hip, bend into the front knee. Reverse warrior for a few breaths, just a little counterbalance. Lift up and open. Stay nice and low into the front leg. You can reach down the back leg if you need to. If you feel like you need a bit of support, keep the hand up here on the outside of the glute muscle. Good. From here, bring the hands back to the hips, and then step your back foot in a little bit closer. Square off the hips, and then bend into the knee, grab your blocks. Get yourself set either side, and then from here, square off the hips, lift the chest, lengthen into the spine, take a breath in, and then as you exhale, hinge forward. Grab the blocks. And then as you settle here, once again, look for this length into the spine. You can always have the back heel lifting up a little bit if you need that extra space. But then eventually grounding the back heel down, shoulders away from the ears, nice and long through the spine. Notice if you have that tendency to kind of want to round and hunch forward, you always want to look to have that lengthening into the body and that smooth alignment between the shoulder blades. And so you're best off using the props or whatever you need to find that alignment. So remember to send the breath down the back of the front leg. Really nice amount of work to unlock those hamstrings, unlock the hips. One more breath. Good. Bend into the knees. Grab the blocks if you need to. Shift the legs back around to the front. Walk the feet in and give the legs a little shake out. Good job. And so you can place the blocks back up towards the front of the mat. And then from here, move towards the center of the mat. Take the feet out wide into Malasana, yogi squat. So from here, just slowly come on down, take a seat. If you need to sit on one of the blocks, you can. Otherwise, just take the hands here over the tops of the knees. Palms lifting up. Just take a few breaths here, feeling this length of the spine. Open the chest and shoulders. You can almost use the triceps on the top of the knees just to open and lift. Just notice how it feels here in the hips and the lower back. Hopefully they feel quite open and loose after all of the hamstring work. It's nice to just check in and notice what feels different after holding the postures for a nice amount of time like that. Just take 2 more breaths here. And then from there, shift the weight forward and then return to downward facing dog. Settle here for a few breaths. And then from here, step your right foot forward into kneeling lunge. And so if you want to use the blocks, grab the blocks. Have those on whatever height you need. And so you want to let the hips shift forward, lift the chest up. And so we'll spend a few breaths here into kneeling lunge. And so if you're a bit tight across the upper back and shoulders, then this little rotation can be a little bit on the challenging side, so I'll show you an option for that. So from there you can bring the palm down and then take a twist and rotation in, and then reach your right arm up and feel into that width across the upper back. If that's a bit too tiring with the arm reaching up, then you can always bring that hand in here and just rest it in the lower back, but you want to think about opening the chest. So if pec is tight, this will be more challenging. If you're tight across the upper back and shoulders, this is a challenging but really useful posture. Good. Take the top arm, reach forward, and then bring both hands to the inside of the front foot. And so from here, bring the back heel up, kneeling quadricep stretch, bring that inside arm back around. We want to get some nice depth and length into this back quadricep. And aim to keep the hips fairly square. So notice if you have this tendency to kind of want to twist through the hips, opening into the chest. Just notice how the body responds on the exhale, finding more depth into the posture. Okay, good. Slowly release. Move both blocks out to the side if you need to, palms grounded. Return to downward facing dog. Settle here for a couple of breaths. Feel that length into the back of the body. Then when you're ready, step the left leg forward, changing sides into the kneeling lunge first. Use the blocks if you need the blocks. Those help to create more space here as we breathe into the hips. So using the exhale for the hips to shift forward. Keep lifting up through the chest. And so from there, take a little twist and rotation in, reaching up. And so arm reaches all the way up if you can. Either look up to the top hand or look to the side or down to the mat, whatever's most comfortable for you. So remember the option here, if you want, you can bring the hand into the lower back just to relax that top arm a little bit as we twist. We'll keep the arm reaching up. Breathing to that width across the shoulders. Bring that hand down if you need to, or take it around behind. Grab a hold of the back foot into this kneeling lunge. Feels quite nice across the upper back after those big opening stretches on each side. So what I really love about this kind of slow, really focused practice is that it gives us such a nice amount of time to really notice the release and the difference, and how the energy body really does shape us physically. Good job. Slowly release the back foot. Remove the blocks out to the side. Palms grounded. Downward facing dog. Settle here for a couple of breaths. Land in the posture. And then from there, when you're ready, bring the knees down. Take a seat on the heels. Keep the toes tucked under if you can. Just take a moment, rest the palms in the lap, relax the shoulders. Just take a few deep breaths here. Notice what feels different in the body. And then from here we'll move into seated twist. So move anything out of the way that you don't need anymore. Push those to the side. And so we'll take seated twist, so we can sit the weight over to the right first. Bring your left leg over the top. And so take an even seat and then ground down through the top foot. Bring your left arm behind and then right arm reaches up. And so before we twist, you want to feel this length into the spine. So lifting, lengthening. You might even spend a couple of breaths here, and then on the next exhale, take a twist and rotation in, forearm around the top of the knee and the outside of the thigh, and then continue to use the breath, and so the in-breath being uplifting and energizing through the spine, and then the out-breath has that sense of softening and settling into the posture. And so we're going to work the breath. Inhale to lift, exhale to deepen the twist. And as you twist, think about leading with the sternum. So rather than just looking over the back shoulder, as we twist, we want to keep that widening, that width through the upper body. Take one more breath here. On the next exhale, this little counter twist the other way for a moment. And then come back to the center, release the legs, and we'll change sides. Other leg goes under, right foot over the top. Just take a moment to find a seat. You might notice that one glute muscle feels a little bit tighter than the other. And so from here, right arm around behind, left arm reaches up. And so take a couple of breaths here to really feel into this length of the spine. So inhale, lift. And then on the next exhale, twisting in, take the forearm around the outside of the thigh, elbow over the knee. And so use the breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. You might even like to close the eyes down. Just visualize how the body twists as you move with the breath. Remember the energy body, the breath shaping the physical body. One more breath here. Then on your next exhale, counter twist the other way. And then gently come back to the center. Bring the legs around to the top of the mats into Dandasana, staff pose. And so flex the feet, make sure the heels are level. And you can either have the fingertips pointing towards the heels. I like to have the fingertips pointing away so we get this nice little stretch into the forearms. And then as you extend out through the heels, lift the toes up. Then lift the chest, get this length into the spine. So you want to have your body in this 90-degree angle. Opening into the chest, just get that little pinch between the shoulder blades. Switching on through the quadriceps, extending out through the hamstrings, and then soften the knees a little bit. Bring the arms up. Get this length into the spine, reach all the way up. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, fold forward, hinging from the hip. So you can take the peace fingers around the big toes, or you might grab around the outside of the feet, or you might just grab onto the ankle or the shin, wherever you get to. And so use the breath. So inhale, lift. Then exhale, continue to fold. And so don't worry about having the legs straight. Just focus on getting this length from the lumbar spine first. And then use the breath. We're going to start to lengthen out the exhale. So if you've got a 3 or 4 second in-breath, double the ratio on the exhale, so it could be 6 or 8 seconds on the exhale. And then just notice on the exhale how the hamstrings will naturally begin to lengthen more on their own. And then just move and settle with the breath. Let's take one more deep breath. Slowly relax the arms, rolling up, and then from here, shuffle forward a little bit if you need to. Make your way into the center of the mat. Gently roll back. You might even like to bring the knees into the chest as you do so. And just take a moment to settle here. And then from there, extend out through one leg, extend out through the other leg. Take the arms out wide, palms facing up. Relax into the legs, just feel the feet fall out to the side. Relax the lower back and feel that sense of ease and lightness through the whole body. Just feel into that openness across the chest. For the next few breaths, just be aware of the breath moving in and out of the belly, the expansion into the ribs. We'll spend a couple of minutes here to finish off the practice. Just allow the body to completely relax and begin this process of integration. There's space for us to take conscious rest and recovery on the physical level. There's space for this sense of energetical rebalancing in the body. Sense of calmness and clarity of the mind. You might even feel that real subtle movement of energy through the body. And so feel free to stay here in Shavasana for as long as you like. Otherwise, without moving the body just yet, bring your focus back to the breath. As you breathe in, just draw your focus to the qualities of the in-breath, this sense of drawing this prana, this life force energy into the body. This feeling of being energized and uplifted. The nourishment of the breath. And the exhaling is having that sense of grounding, settling, and letting go of any tightness, any tension, anything that we don't need to be holding on to physically or energetically or mentally, on all the layers of our being. And then from here, create some movement into the hands and the feet. A few rotations into the ankles and the wrists. And then take a big stretch all the way up overhead, reaching out from feet to fingertips. Draw the knees into the chest. And then roll over to the right hand side and take a generous 3 or 4 breaths there. Before you sit up, take a moment to just enjoy that sense of peace, calmness, serenity in the body. We're still absorbing and integrating the processes of the practice. And then whenever you feel ready, make your way up into whatever seated position you prefer to close practice with, either cross-legged or kneeling. And then from here you can bring the palms down over the tops of the knees again. Take a moment to find a steady seat. Close the eyes down. Let's take a few relaxing breaths here. Just simply be aware of and notice what you notice in the body. Just be aware of all those subtle changes we make on the physical level. Notice the movement of energy through the body. Notice that sense of calmness, of clarity of the mind, less distraction of thoughts. And this profound sense of being present in the physical body. If you wish, take a moment, bring the palms to the heart space, Anjali Mudra. You feel the energy between the right, left side, the solar, lunar energies of the body. And then if you wish, bow the forehead to the fingertips and take a moment to honor your time spent in your practice. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes. As always, thanks for joining. Any questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram. Lots of really nice playlists to yoga practice like this on my Spotify, Mark Moon Fit Yogi. I look forward to seeing you next time. Enjoy your day. Bye.